bass and kick drums. I'm from the
same place as trap music. This that first react music. They can't hold me back. I'm feeling good cause I'm black music. Can't nobody touch this. My flow, I can't rush this. Put them on silence when I'm talking. You should hush, bitch. I am from the heavy bass. My bro called a heavy case. Got a couple friends. They be watching from the heaven.
Good evening and welcome to another episode of Cigar Sundays Live. Tonight, we will be smoking on the word tradition. In American culture, the word tradition produces symbolic meanings, holidays, and other cultural expressions. We want to know if it's bad, good, or misunderstood. I am Chef Earl Pearl at DBCHEFTV, always with the God, Ali, Dawood L at BK Soul Farm. And we are the Cigarden Panel. Peace, God. What's going on at the Beehive?
Peace, God. Yo, man, everything is good over here, man. Everything is buzzing.
It's all buzzing.
Yeah, I love it, man. Yeah, I was telling you earlier, as we starting up, I was able to move one of my hives from one section of my yard to the other section because it started interfering with my neighbor and it got kind of crazy, right? And in the process of moving it, you know, I was able to add a second brood box, and I'm doing my inspections and stuff. Every one of my frames is full of brood. Every one of my frames is full of honey. Like every one of my frames is like this. It was so many bees, bro. It's just crazy. Like, so when I say winning, man, I'm loving this, right? And where I put them, right, it's just more, just grass and weeds, and you know, down here, like you know, it's always sunny, right? So people don't like their weeds, but man, I tell you, I cultivate my weeds because the bees love them. You don't need fancy flowers. You don't. I mean, if they great, they smell good, right? They look good. But if all you got are regular ragweeds or whatever, that'll work.
That'll work, right? They collect pollen too, don't they?
Every day. Every day. So it's good, man. So yeah, I just got one more hive to move, and that'll be it. And I be it's on and popping after that. I'm thinking in about 2 months, I should be able to start collecting, definitely. Doing my first harvest.
That's dope, man. That's really
Yeah.
dope. Yeah, y'all. That's at BK Soul Farm, beef farming, chicken farming, egg farming, geese farming, fish farming.
Yeah, you do everything, bro. Yeah, I do as much as I possibly can, man.
Make sure y'all check out BK Soul Farm, man, and go and pick up that good book that he got going on. And the link is in the description. So you can have some of these wonderful stories and experiences. Yes, indeed, of self-sufficiency and self-sustainability.
For real.
Yep. So tonight, y'all, we are talking about the word tradition. Make sure to like and share the video. Also, subscribe to the channel so when we go live, you never miss an episode of Cigar Sundays Live. And once again, check out them links in the description. We really appreciate y'all for it. We are talking about tradition. And if you're new to the channel, what we do is we break down words, we define them, and we have fun with it. You know, two big nerds smoking on words. That's what we're doing over here, y'all. And tonight's word, once again, is tradition. We put together some questions, and that is how we, those questions are what we center our conversation around. So we're going to go to the questions, and then we're going to get to the definition of the word tradition. So tonight, We're going to be smoking on tradition. And our first question this evening will be, does tradition have positive or negative effects? Second, can tradition be used to promote social stability, and which traditions would be used? Third and final, how does tradition impact the communication of knowledge and values from one generation to another? These are the three questions that we will be discussing this evening right here on Cigar Sundays with the Cigarden Panel.
I like those questions, God. Yeah, I like those.
So what would you like to do, God? You want to go ahead and answer the first question first before we get to the definition? Go straight to the definition.
Yeah, nah. Let's talk off our heart first.
So
Right.
we're gonna go into the first question.
Yeah,
Does tradition have positive or negative effects?
I would think off the bat, the answer would be both. Right.
Okay.
It can be both depending on what the tradition is. Right. And that's really it, right? Like, because anything could be a tradition. You know, in my mind, a tradition is just something that your family does religiously, so to speak. And I'm using the word religiously, meaning on a regular occurrence or on a certain occurrence, or I don't know if I'm using that word correctly, but that's how I'm thinking about it.
When you say religious, that's how you referring. That's what you're referring to.
Yeah, like
Routine.
yeah, routine.
Routine.
There you
Okay.
go. Routine is better. That's to me, you know, and you're doing it for no other reason than just because that's what we do. Right? You don't necessarily have to have a purpose or know the purpose, right? Or need a benefit, right? It could just be something that I'm doing just because that's what we do. And to maintain my black card, so to speak, I'm gonna do whatever it is that we do.
Even if they all jumping off the bridge and there's concrete on the other side.
I mean, tradition, right? to go against tradition, right? To go against the norm, so to speak. I would consider the tradition and norms to be kind of similar, right? Something that everybody doing, and the person that goes against what everybody else is doing. If everybody else is jumping off a cliff and there's concrete on the other side,
Why aren't you jumping?
why aren't you jumping?
Why haven't you jumped?
Right? And instead of them just jumping and forgetting about you not jumping, they will want to come and harm you for breaking norms and breaking tradition, right? Which I find to be interesting. So so it's big, right? It really depends on what the tradition is and how you feel about the outcomes, right? Because if the participant is a-okay with whatever harm may come from that action, and that's part of the tradition, right? Like a test of courage, so to speak. I don't know if it's bad if the participant is cool with it.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying, right? Like, so
Okay.
as far as if it's good or bad, like, I don't know if I can judge somebody
You
else's
still kind
tradition.
of volunteered though, so you have to be, because you're taught it. You're taught tradition. That's not something that's just in us.
And
Or
if
is
you,
it?
so
Or
that's what
is
I'm saying, right? Like, so if you
what
can,
level?
if you continue to do the thing that you've been taught just because you've been taught it, right? And you don't have a,
Is it traditional to be a human to breathe oxygen?
like for me, culture has a purpose, right? If you're doing something cultural or culturally, you're doing it with intent and with purpose, and everybody's on the same page, so to speak, and they know why they're doing it. Something traditionally done is done, in my mind, could be done absent-mindedly, right? And
Absent-mindedly.
and when you grow up, you can choose to not do that no more when your mind is fully present.
Okay, like give me an example of what I like that right there. Where you can do a tradition that you can do something absent-mindedly. Like, how do you do it? How do you
It's like,
practice? How does one practice a tradition absent-mindedly? God, that's
no, it's kind of like what you were saying, right? Like growing up in it, like being taught, going to, I was everything I got is like religious based. So I don't want to be paying.
I mean, you just making a point. You just making that's just the perspective of it.
Yeah, I would say something like Christmas. That's not religious necessarily.
Okay,
That could be Santa Claus, right? Uh,
that's
growing up,
tradition. To Christmas tradition.
super tradition, right? Growing up, yeah, I was raised to believe, I was raised to accept and embrace the lights and the trees and all that stuff, the Fat Man and the elves and the flying reindeers and all that stuff. I was also taught to embrace the emotion I'm supposed to have during this time, irregardless, even though they say that's not a word. I want to have a talk about stuff that's not words that we say all the time. Because I'm saying if it eventually get added to the dictionary, I don't know if it's not. I
Look,
digress.
look, look, all right, since you digressing, let me fuck with you. what's, what's your favorite Christmas song?
Donny Hathaway. This Christmas.
You're not that traumatized.
No, because no, and the truth is, right, and the the the
You
the
got a
the
favorite Christmas song?
the reality is I'm not that traumatized because I woke up early,
Because
right?
you wasn't what? Following the tradition.
I kind of
Would you
wasn't,
say?
bro.
Would you
Like, so,
say following the tradition? What was it? And
I forgot. I was slow.
mindlessly,
Or
brainlessly,
absent-mindedly, right? Like,
absent-mindedly. Yeah, like
yeah, like I started asking questions and I started being curious and so the things I like about Christmas are the Donny Hathaway songs, are the Mariah Carey songs, are the Luther songs.
man, talk about
Like,
it. Talk about it.
right, like I can wholeheartedly appreciate those things even outside of the traditional time to hear it. Right, I like those songs, right?
Yeah, they jam.
But I can put down the rest of the stuff, right? Because I'm saying I wouldn't teach my children, or I wouldn't want to teach my children that somebody else is doing all this hard work for them, or because they're doing good in school that some mystery person is bringing them a reward, right? Because life don't work like that, right? Like, it's
What you mean some mystery person is bringing them a reward? That
Santa
ain't no
Claus.
mystery person, it's Santa Claus.
My bad.
That's not a mystery person, that's
And that's what
Santa.
that's what I'm saying. Like, I broke away from the tradition. I like Donny Hathaway. I like
That's Santa. That's not a mystery person. He's got reindeer.
got an address and too, right? Got an address and everything.
Man, he got a whole wife and elves. He got shit to run. He got a whole
Like peep game, right? You can actually mail a letter
to Santa. Yeah.
to Santa.
Yeah.
That's facts, right? Like you can actually do that.
It's a fucking waste of money. Doge need to investigate that shit.
You could absolutely mail a whole letter to Santa. Like, who is that going to? That's so crazy. Like, that's funny, son.
Where the fuck is all that? Where the fuck is all that letter? I know somebody sending Santa $1.
That's
Peace,
crazy. Yo, peace, peace. Yo, where's that going, son? I never thought about that part before.
I know somebody sending Santa some little change or something. Santa, here's something, you know.
All right. So yeah, right. So I broke. So yeah. So that's why I'm not that traumatized. And you know, I used to feel like I was, right, and I was anti-Christmas trees, anti-Christmas lights, anti the word Christmas, anti anything that looked like Christmas, and because I felt like I was traumatized. And then I woke up and realized that nah, I'm not like a lot of these people, right? Like, and I've been like this for a long time. Like, I'm not new to this thought process that I have, right? Like, it's just mature with me, or
Right.
maybe I've matured with it, right?
Both.
Right. So I was able to walk away from certain traditions. And now, like I say, like I don't have hatred or anger or nothing, you know, like, you know, people want to celebrate holidays, whatever. People call me, say Merry Christmas. I say Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
I love you.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But that don't mean that I have to put up a tree, and everybody that thinks that I have to put up trees and have to put up lights, I say to those people, you are my enemy.
Oh man.
Right? Because you don't get to put down on me in my face. Like, you don't, like, thank you for identifying yourself and letting me know that you are
that you ain't all the way with it if you ain't got no tree, nigga.
I just can't wave and say, hey neighbor, I gotta go into your house and eat dinner with you and shit to be, man, get out of here, man.
You don't celebrate Christmas for real.
All right, you got me.
You gotta have a tree and everything. You gotta have lights on your house. You gotta have shit. Or else
Yeah,
it ain't it.
you know, and it sounds silly, but I've had those conversations over the years. Like,
Wow.
people really wanted to debate me over my choices. Like I've been told I'm depriving my children. Right?
Yeah,
Like,
people be going too far sometimes.
a lot of times, bro. That's what I'm saying, man. Like, so a lot of the years when I was angry and hating the holidays, it was more likely because people was trying to force and tell me that I was hurting my children by not participating in the illusion. Right.
By not choosing to do what the fuck I want to do.
Right. So
With my own life.
I'm like, I want to do Kwanzaa, and they're like, ew, Kwanzaa, that's fake, that's made up. Like, yeah, okay. What holiday is not made up?
Made up. Made up. Like, all this shit had to start somewhere.
Yeah, and I choose it, right? I choose to embrace 7 days of love. I choose to participate for 7 days and practice for 7 days, right? So that each one of my 7 days throughout the year could be as productive as possible, right? Because that's more worthwhile than making a list. He's checking it twice. He's gonna find out who's naughty or nice. That's
Come on.
corny.
Santa Claus is coming to town. Oh yeah, Santa. What? That's That's all you need. Making a list, checking it twice. That's my favorite joint right there.
Fuck around, son. You start jamming.
That's my shit right there. Throw that J5 on, baby.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
And just put that on repeat all night long.
That's how all night long, right? Just like, you know, and you just jam to that joint, right?
You know, throw some Nat King Cole in there
right?
in the middle every now and then.
You know, and it's
Slow it
cool, and it's
down.
cool, right? So yeah, that's what I think. I think traditions could be dangerous, bro. I think they could, but I think they can also be helpful depending on what they are, right? Because you can be a part of a culture that uh, teaches investment management as a tradition, right, or wealth management, um, the asset building as a tradition, right? Like there are cultures here in America that practice group economics, family economics, right? They practice block voting, right? They don't tiptoe around the ideas of just get out and vote, you know, vote however you want to vote, just get out and vote. No, they say we need us to vote this way in order for this to get passed, for us to benefit from it. And all of them that support each other, or correction, all of them that support themselves vote the way that they need to vote for themselves, and they get their agendas passed, right? Those those are cultures that practice traditions that are super beneficial, right? That may look bad and negative to people that's not benefiting, right? You might want to scream Illuminati, or you might want to say unfair, or you might want to cry or whatever. But really, the people around you just don't want what you want, or maybe you don't even want what you want, right? Maybe, you know, have you saved any of your money? Have you invested any of your money? Like, have what have you done, like, besides just bump your gums? That's why I say, right, like, when I started farming, you know, but you know, luckily, you know, that's why I say the universe loved me, man. All my friends started growing, right? Everybody that loved me started farming, and I made it essential for if you want to be in my circle, like, you have to be a producer,
You have
right?
to
And
produce something.
you have to produce something, right? And because I can't do everything, right? So if everybody around me is building, then, man, even when I fall short, if I get hurt, I got mad buildings I can go to for support, right? For assistance. Like, that's how we win. That's how we grow, and nobody feels taken advantage of or ashamed because we're
Right.
in it together, right? It's like it's Psalms 133 all day, right? And like, we have to win, teams win, right? So yeah, that's what I'm saying, right? So there are positive traditions that can work and benefit, but it's tricky.
No doubt. And with that said, we're gonna get right to the definition. Um, we were just going over the first question this evening with the guy Ali Dawu El at BK Soul Farm. Does tradition have positive or negative effects? And he was sharing some insights, some very positive insights on tradition having a positive or negative effect. So we're going to go ahead and get into the definition of the word tradition this evening. And we will be going to our first source, which is Merriam-Webster.com. And we have the definition here of tradition: an inherited, established, or customary pattern of thought, action, or behavior, such as a religious practice or a social custom. 1B, a belief or story, or a body of beliefs or stories relating to the past that are commonly accepted as historical truth, though not verifiable. Okay, let's go back through that one right there. A belief or story or a body of beliefs or stories relating to the past that are commonly accepted as historical, though not verifiable. It's tradition. It's in there. The hanging down of information.
God damn.
The second part of the noun. The handing down of information, beliefs, and customs by word of mouth or by example from one generation to another without written instruction. 3, cultural continuity and social attitudes, customs, and institutions. Characteristic, manner, method, or style.
Yo, you cannot write a tradition down. Is that how I'm reading that? It says the number 2. It says by example from one generation to another without written instruction.
It says by word of mouth or by example. Okay.
So it's meant. It seems is interpretable.
It's meant for traditions to be actions.
Yeah.
Verifiable through action. Tradition should be verified through action, not through word of mouth.
Not according to this. This is saying the traditions only goes by word of mouth, and 1B says it doesn't have to be verifiable at all.
Hold up, we'll say handing down the information released by word of mouth. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, to flip that then. They saying by word of mouth and not by actions, right? Right.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so you can't even write it down as I guess it makes it a law once you write it down.
I don't know if it make it law. It could just be some shit scribbled on a piece of paper.
That's what I was thinking. Like, but according to this, like you can't write something down and tell your kid like, all right, or just I don't know. That's interesting.
Well, an inherited, established, or customary pattern of thought, action, or behavior. So the handing down of the information, the belief and customs by word of mouth or by example, that's action. Or by example.
That's all action, yeah.
From one generation to another without written instruction. So
and that's why I say it's interpretable, because it's
so
by
you gotta
action.
have actions with it. You gotta have actions. So it's not stuck on word of mouth. It's not that. It is action. Even though they're saying you could talk about it. So it's not verifiable without action.
Yeah.
Now, even though they say right here, they say belief or story body of beliefs or stories relating to the past that are commonly accepted as historical, though not verifiable. I'm saying that they contradict tradition, contradicts itself.
No, but so I'm saying the way this is written right here, those are two different like senses, so to speak, right? Or two different parts of it. It definitely contradicts itself. But they saying that a tradition is literally that a belief or a story relating to a past that people just accept, right, as historical, right? But
Yeah,
cannot.
Is that what commonly accepted means? That people just accept it, or is it just because just accepted is just like, man, they just be accepting this shit. They don't be checking it to find out. But is that a common occurrence, or is that a?
So it's hard to talk about this without sounding disrespectful to.
No, it's not. Did I make it sound disrespectful? It's not disrespectful.
No, not you. Not
people
you.
do be not paying attention to shit and not doing.
Yeah, so I want to keep it on Santa Claus or something like that.
You know,
or the Easter Bunny, right?
I mean, okay, so that's okay. Easter Bunny's a prime example of just believing some shit and knowing that bunnies don't fucking lay no eggs.
But however, they do Easter egg hunts at the White House, right? And
Right.
rabbits 100% don't lay eggs,
Right.
right? A thing that people don't learn until they become adults, right? Like because they accept that Easter egg thing so much, like it just throws away that the whole, rabbits are damn rodents, right? Like they real. Um, hey, peace, Dr. Mo. Hey, it's funny, bro. Like, yeah, this is hard, right? Because everybody accepts that, people pass that down, and there's no value in that at all. At least I don't think so.
It's no
Right, yeah.
value in the Easter bunny.
In the East, in the
Think about their kids, Ali.
Yeah, the kids got something to do. Like the kids got something to do.
They got something to do. They got
Right?
something
Like
to do.
you get to sit there and drink your drink and smoke your smoke and laugh at the kids, playing in the grass and stuff like that. Like, yeah, that's cool, right? But now see, that's interesting, because if they said that was the purpose of Easter, I wouldn't have no problems at all, really. I don't think. Right, but I'm under the impression that it got something to do, like something super deep, right? And resurrections and stuff like that, and it's supposed to be a part of our hearts and whatnot. And but then they say it got other parts of the story where is part of Ishtar and rabbits are for fertility. Like it's a whole bunch of stuff mixed together. What's real, what's not real? All I'm saying, rabbits don't lay eggs, so that's not verifiable historically.
No, there's no way. I don't think there's nowhere in science to verify a rabbit that lay a damn egg.
Yo, I'm breeding them now, right? And I'll let you know. Like,
no, do not let me know. You got to keep that shit to you quiet, because you about to get paid, bro. And just be
fact,
careful.
if my rabbits lay eggs, bro, yo, so far going up, son.
That's all I'm saying. Be careful, God. If you need me to join a security detail, real talk,
So
family.
So to that's what I would say as a commonly something that people just believing stories, right? And we just pass these things to our kids, right? I don't know, man.
Now the Easter Bunny is something that definitely fits a tradition that is commonly accepted as historical, though not verifiable. Now we know that the Easter story translate through through Christianity and all the things that it relates to that, and the whole that you can go in deeper with all that. So like, we know that it has that, but just like being on just dealing with tradition, when I see this, the handing down of information, beliefs, and customs by word of mouth or by example from one generation to another without written instruction.
Let's keep it on Easter, God. Let's keep it on Easter.
Without written instruction.
Why are we doing that?
You know what I'm saying?
Why all the kids playing in the grass, not playing in the grass? Why are the kids looking for Easter egg, bunny eggs in the grass? Why are they looking for colorful eggs? Why are they doing that?
I mean, I have no idea why.
Somebody handed down some information, right? A belief that
because somebody said on.
It's a custom, actually, right? It's not even a belief. It just be a custom.
What's Easter? The resurrection?
I think so.
So like, I guess
and I'm trying to stay off the
came and got them.
Stuff,
they
right?
had bunny eggs. They went and ate
bunny eggs.
When they came and got Jesus out the tomb, he went to go have some bunny eggs for breakfast. So that's why they, I guess that's the representation of the eggs, and they had to find them They
And
had to
that's
go
what I'm
find
saying,
them.
right?
They had to,
That's what happens when you hand down information or customs, right? By word of mouth or by examples, right? Actions from one generation to another without any written instructions. We have no idea why we doing it. We just doing it. We just celebrating Easter. We every Easter, some little black boy,
no,
right?
we're
Got
not gonna just attack
a
Easter. No, God, we're not gonna just attack Easter. No,
yeah.
we're not gonna do
That's
it.
the. I mean,
I,
I'm
I
trying to stay
love
off.
Cadbury. I love Cadbury chocolate bunnies.
I do too. I do too.
You
But
know,
I hated putting on that corduroy suit and doing
that
that speech.
corduroy suit.
Yeah, I had a brown one. I had a blue one. Joint was 3-piece.
Oh, you was fresh. That
I had to
thing
get
was
up there.
corduroy though.
I had to get up there and do my Easter speech, bro.
Ooh.
And I'm like, why are we doing this, right? Like, what does it got to do with a bunny? I'm confused. Why we got a religious thing and a rabbit? I don't understand these two things at the same time meaning the same thing, and nobody explained it. That's why I say, right? Like, so for me, as soon as I seen that contradiction, I'm like, man,
Well,
I'm
we got
good.
we talking about Jesus being resurrected and we looking for eggs.
Right? Because I grew up in a church, right? Like I was damn near born in Montjoy Baptist Church, right? And you know, when I got baptized at 12, I was
What
all
is
in, right?
you know what? I don't even know that. I'm so bad, man. I don't even know what Easter represents.
That's what I'm saying, bro. I got baptized at 12 and left the church at
Because I think,
14.
let me see, Easter.
I think it's the resurrection, though. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that's the resurrection. That's what I thought. Okay, I ain't that much of a heathen.
If your sister was on here, man, we both be in trouble.
I ain't that much of a heathen, man. But yeah, you know that it's interesting in chicks and bunnies. But um, let's look at the synonyms that we have for the word tradition, y'all. So hold up, let's go back. Let's see those first, and then let's go back and let's see. All right, so we have synonyms here as in convention, custom, heritage, prescription, rubric, and rule. And then as we go dive a little deeper, we're going to get tradition in two forms, as in rule and as in folklore. So here we have it as in rule, an inherited or established way of thinking, feeling, or doing. And then you have rule, principles, values, heritage, convention, customs, standards, ethic, prescription, norm, legacy, superstition, folklore, culture, mode, rubric, form, birthright, lore, inheritance, mores, lifestyle. And that is, as in rule, an inherited or established way of thinking, feeling, or doing. It's actions.
So if the kids are bad, then I guess that's what they was taught, huh?
I would have to say all human activity is taught. So yes, in some way. We don't know. We don't know who to blame for the bad teachings. We don't know what they were able to access to study.
Correct.
Because it may not have came from people around them, you know. It may and dag, I hate that I can't really put it like that. Okay, it may not have been people that influenced them that they grew up around directly. Like,
yeah, I get it.
You know, like your parents can make sure that you have access to this and this and this and that. You still growing up around these people, but it's like in your neighborhood, they not there. You know, they your friends of friends, or people that you see and you like that. So now you want to be a part of that. So you find your way in, or you find a way to become that. And those things right there sometimes can be negative. It can affect you negatively, trying to become those things. They have negative consequence. You know,
Yeah.
they don't have positive consequence. So now we see tradition as in folklore, the body of customs, beliefs, stories, and sayings associated with the people, thing, or place. The body of customs, beliefs, stories, and sayings associated with a people, thing, or place.
Man, this is a you can offend somebody quick with this conversation.
Folklore, mythology, lore, legend, myth, mythos, information, legendary tale, folk, life, knowledge, wisdom, anecdote, folk tale, fable, yarn, or wives' tale.
It's like Thor and like the Norse gods or whatever, right? Like, or any of those I guess all the mythologies fit.
When you look at the definition of it, you like, damn, like for people to be so convicted to traditions,
Yeah, it's crazy.
you know, it's wild, because you get these words like when they use it as a folklore, you know, like look how many of these words, when you look at the meaning of them, people don't place any value in the meaning of them.
Yeah, the real definitions. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like once once the definitions was saying how a tradition didn't have to be real, it didn't have to be based in something that was verifiable historically, and then you see why, right? Because it can be a folklore based on the land, right? You can have all the myths and the legends and the mythologies and the legendary heroes and all the old wives' tales and
Yeah.
everything, right? Like,
Anecdotal can even
and
be
it
anecdotal,
can
like,
be anecdotal.
and a fable, you know, that's another word for lying. You're the fable. Old fable telling it. They got fables. They don't tell
Hey,
lies. They got fables. And a tale, that's telling the tale.
yeah.
So yeah, God, you right on point with that. That's
Like remember, like even like back in the day, like you couldn't even say the word lying. You would be like, oh, you storyteller,
yeah.
right? Like a story
Yeah.
was lying. Like it's like even the word story was associated with lying, like something that wasn't real. The word story.
Yeah. Somebody was trying to demonize the word lie in the late 80s or something like that. Cause a lot of adults was like, don't say lie. Don't use that word. I wonder if that was going on in the church too, or something like that. Because I remember getting corrected by a whole bunch of elders. Like,
Yeah, it
saying,
was almost like it was definitely like a bad word, like you was cussing or something.
yeah, like they lying. Don't say that word.
Say that word.
You know, say they telling a fib, or they telling a story, or they telling a
Now,
tale.
now I do know that it is damning, right? Because to say that somebody is lying, it is saying that they are not telling the truth.
Don't call somebody a liar. Like all these lying ass mofos out
Right?
here.
Like everybody want to be, I can't even say passive aggressive anymore, right? Because that's not correct.
Nah, they just want to be some lying
A bunch
ass
of,
mofos. That they
yeah,
want. That's it.
everybody want to just look and just like, yeah, want to tell a story, want to sit there and, man, like
Yeah.
look at number 3, cultural continuity and social attitudes, customs and institutions, right? So they made it cultural continuity. So it's just gonna be this way no matter what. So the work environment, right? The hostile work environment, the asshole bosses or the bad supervisors or the people that wanna um look at me, boss, look at me, boss, look what I did, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like those things are just a part of it, right? Like I just
Those are the hard chargers, though. Ain't those the hard chargers? But look at me, look at me, look what I'm doing. I'm doing it the best. I do it the best. I do it the fastest and the best. All
but
the rest of you are
but
just here to
yeah,
watch
right.
me.
And that's what I'm saying, right? It's like so to change or to change the thought that that person is a hard charger to nah, they doing too much. Right? Right? Like your hard charger is actually working, right? Like he ain't actually like he's saying over here, boss. He's saying I'm done. What's next, boss? Like that's what your hard charger is saying. Your hard charger is not the one that's saying, hey, did you see what I just did? Hey, like I don't know how to
I
do that.
agree. I agree
I,
with you,
I
God.
don't know I don't know how to do that sucker stuff. I don't have no good examples of that.
That hard charger's a sucker though. Sit your sucker
that
ass
that
down
hard
in the
charger
corner.
like that guy that thinks he's a hard charger is a sucker,
He's a
right?
sucker.
Because he's not really doing no work. Like he's doing a lot of lip service and making the
I did
presentation,
it. I did it.
right? But all the work that got done, somebody else did that. Like the hard charges did all that work. He just made it look pretty and presented it and was like, all right, that's
I don't
cool.
know. Now that's two different people. That might be the supervisor. That might be the.
Eh,
That might be
that's
two
different.
different people. Because there's
Supervisor wouldn't
always
even qualify this conversation.
there's always somebody who ain't really doing none of the work but gets the
Yeah,
bulk of the credit. You know what I'm saying?
that's what I'm saying. It's that team
Right.
member that
It's
just sit over there
always
that
that.
don't do nothing
You
and
know,
and want to present it. Told him, look what I did. Want to go to the boss fast and first,
like
right?
the owner does a lot more talking when they win the championship versus the players and the coach and everybody who was
For
out
real.
there sweating and shit. So like that's just, I guess that's a part of the cultural continuity and customs and institutions, because that institute is, in reference to the football league, like that's the institution, right? But in your example, using that guy who says, I'm the person that's doing this, that's doing that, the sucker, as you referred to, and I call him the hard charger. Like it is traditional in those environments that's the social attitude. That is a part of the customs. That's a part of those
That's number
institutions.
3. That's what it say, and I'm seeing that, and for me to be uncomfortable in that situation means that I'm in the wrong environment for myself, right? And I got to do a lot of adjusting in order for me to stay in that environment, which is what I've been doing, right? Like I've been I've been adjusting, guys.
you got to adjust your cultural continuity.
Right? Man, this shit is daily. because things just won't change, right? Like because
No.
most people don't want they don't want to be the ones to be the change, right? Like they want change, they do want change, right? But they don't want to be the ones that have actually been the one to have had to sweat or bleed or cry for somebody to hear they plea, right? Um, if you cried and somebody heard and they came and helped us, that's cool. But I don't want to be embarrassed because my cry might sound a little girly. Not that girls cry is corny, but on a man, it's kind of whack. All right.
Okay. For sure.
All right. What does the next one say?
For sure. Characteristic, manner, method, or style.
Yeah. That's why I say, right? Like it can traditions could be good or bad depending on what they are and how they use, right? And depending on kind of culture you have. And if you got a culture of building, you can have really a lot of good traditions to to make sure that you're safe and productive and prosperous in the future or in the present, actually, right?
And
Because
right now. And right now.
you know what I'm saying? Because that's where it's at, right? Or you can have one of those cultures that don't teach that and be on some old pull yourself up by your bootstraps.
We got that. What you talking about? You be that's FBA, ain't it?
That's what I'm saying.
That's 100%
That's that's
FBA.
that's what it is, right? And that's why I say, right, like that whole generational wealth conversation for me is kind of crazy. Like everybody talking about it. I'm like, I hear it and I get it, but when you look around, like do you really see any of the young people wanting to do what you doing? Right? Are you doing anything that they want to be doing in the future or that they want to maintain? Right? Like
I don't know. That's not. I don't know if that particular aspect needs to be attached to it because
so I'm
because
thinking I'm
young
thinking
people
small.
knowing what they want to do in the future is a long shot.
And I say
It's
young,
some.
no, but young is relative, right? Because
No,
so
you
I'm,
gotta put a
I'm
number on it. No, you gotta put a number on it because if it's an
up to up to
actionary, if it's an action plan,
up to a 30-year-old. I'm saying up to 30 is young.
shit, I don't know. We struggling out here, fam.
That's what I'm that's what
You
I'm
might have to
that's what
raise that shit up to like
that's
43.
43 is up. 43 is young. God damn. I thought I
You
was
might,
being generous,
man,
God.
you might have to raise that shit to like 43. You might have to raise your bob to like 43. I don't know.
That's
You know,
crazy when you say
I
it like that.
mean, you could get some 30s. You can, maybe go 35, but man, they're gonna be. It's gonna be the 35 of the 35. It's gonna be the top tier 35. Trust me.
So, okay, I hear what you're saying. So by your standards, you saying we young,
Yeah,
right? Okay,
yeah,
okay, okay. So I understand you. I understand your thinking now. I understand.
yeah, God.
So yeah, so definitely not. I would give up these 30 years, 35 year olds. Even some of these 40 year olds is bad, bro.
Yeah.
Like it's bad, right?
And that's why I'm
And and
saying,
and,
like,
and until and I'm saying like unless somebody's willing in this age group or in this time is willing to get dirty and make the change and to break tradition, to stand against tradition, to say, hey, um, I want to do something different and willing to like that's what I'm saying. Like everybody use the word, everybody think they the black sheep now, right? Because they might say something that's woke and it's like, yeah, that's some black sheep stuff. But the black sheep never wanted to be the black sheep. Right?
some black sheep woke stuff.
Like the black sheep never wanted to be the black sheep. The black sheep wanted to be with everybody else and wanted everybody else to be woke and prosperous and joyous as well. But everybody else was happy going to the slaughterhouse, right? I don't know, man. Like it's tough being the person or being the ones to break tradition. And that's why I say generational
Yeah.
wealth in the FBA culture is kind of ridiculous, right? Because we don't have a culture of building together. We do, but they force the trauma repeatedly on us to where we have more thoughts of how it's not going to work anyway than thoughts of all the Black Wall Streets that were working before they got destroyed.
Forced trauma of it's not going to work anyway. Forced trauma of it's not going to work anyway. So I want to ask the question about that point, what you just said. Forced trauma of it's not going to work anyway. Not going to work anyway. Okay, so when we say characteristic, manner, method, or style, tradition. What if you grow up and you have a level of communication that's real toxic? Where like people just, it's common for somebody call you a piece of shit, an asshole, you know, a host of other things that like whatever they could come up with. All right. But then that's family though.
That's family though.
But then that's family though, right? Like they just call you all types of names and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And then that's normal. That's what they do. So then what happens is now when that person passes, that person may have been respected for a lot of other things. But there were some people who did not agree with that level of communication of being talked to disrespectfully, chastised, ridiculed. You know, let's say that person didn't know no better. Who was exemplifying that? They didn't know a better way to communicate because maybe somebody had communicated to them like that, and that's what they thought was tradition. Kind of like we got spankings, but I know it's a lot of people in their 40s and 50s that didn't spank their kids.
Correct.
So when you look at that, it's like, okay, it was a tradition for a long time. So some of those things that like spankings were communication where like sometimes people just yelled at you all the time. They never really talked to you. They never sat down and said, hey, what's going on? Talk to me. Like, what's the problem? Like, I want to understand. They might have just said, you know, you need to tighten that shit up before you get your ass whooped. And that was their method. So when you look at those manner, methods, and styles, that characteristic of a manner, a method, or style of communication, that can be passed down as a tradition. And people don't even realize it, that when we talked about, because we still at our first question here, is does tradition have a positive or negative effects? And I'm speaking to the negative effect of this is when you have characteristics, manners, method, or style of communicating negatively, and then it becomes normalized. Then it becomes tradition. And what turns into is forced trauma because the person who was delivering it, everybody respected for other things.
Correct.
You know, so maybe they was the provider, maybe they took care of things, then maybe they was big daddy, maybe they was big mama, you know, maybe they was somebody who everybody depended on and they looked to for other things. So they saw past their inability to communicate on a level that wasn't traumatizing.
Facts.
And that forced trauma led to people, I believe a side effect of it is through that tradition led to people having the attitude or mindsets of it's not going to work anyway.
100%
So,
fact.
so they don't change. They don't try to change their level of communication. They don't even try to understand why they're communicating that way, where they pick that shit up from. Who taught you that bullshit? Why you still think that that's cool? Why you haven't evolved from that?
In fact, they probably think, from my personal experience, they think that if you communicate differently, you trying to be white,
You talking like you white. I don't
talking like
think
you
I don't think we
are, right?
talk white up here at all. I mean, we might have talked right. We might be trying to talk right, but I don't know if that's white or not, you know, based on language, the origin of languages and civilization and everything else. So, you know, like I ain't on that, you know.
Nah,
But the tradition, you know, that we see that is from this definition, you know, we see that in I've seen like sharing that you know that scenario, like I've seen where like families can have communication. It can be relationships in any type of, and let's just say that's a family. We could say that can come from just a person being in a relationship with somebody else, individual relationship, personal. You know, you seen one thing a certain way, so now that becomes a tradition. That the manner, the method, and style. So if I grow up seeing this, well, traditionally, my mother and father fight, and it's physical. So now, when I get with my, you know, young lady, I'm thinking that that's okay,
it's normal.
that it's normal, you know, because my mother tolerates it, but I haven't deduced that. I haven't deduced that they tolerate that about each other because it's other people that don't have to deal with physical altercations in their relationship, you know?
Yep.
So now there's a negative effect on that tradition being passed.
Yep. And that's just inside the house, right? And that's just one thought thing. That's just one thought process that you hit, right? And if you want to talk generational wealth, that's why I said, like, soon as you and soon as you bring up a Black Wall Street, folks generally tend to think more of how it was burned down and bombed and stuff like that, right? Like they talk about, yeah, but they flooded them all and they did this and they did that. They hardly ever talk about what was actually accomplished by our ancestors,
Right.
right?
Like what it took to get there, what it took to,
Right? Like they
you
had
know.
like whole cities, right? Like they had whole functioning cities that were the building blocks of America, right? Like that's why we're called foundational Black Americans, right? Because it was those people that
I didn't
and
know that though. You just schooled me, but that's what's up.
nah,
That's what the foundation is about. Okay.
yeah, like that's is the people that literally built this country, right? Like not just physically brick by brick, but the money that was generated from the businesses that we had, right? Like that's what I'm saying, right? Like we was never corny, right? Like this whole idea of we shall overcome someday, Like,
Someday.
yeah, as a human species, but like we come from greatness. We just forgot, right? Like we are it, right? Everything that's hot right now, um, is because of us. Like we was buzzing, right? Hip hop is in the lingo in the White House. Hip hop is in the lingo in governments around the world.
Yeah, Kendrick Lamar's at the Super Bowl performing. He's the headliner. It's hip hop. It's not country. It's not pop or alternative or anything. It's
Or world music or whatever.
world music. Yeah, it's not in any Latin genre. It is young nigga from Compton. Shout out to K-Dot.
You know what I'm saying? The God is like, and that's what I'm saying, right? And it's huge that's what I'm saying, like it's us, right? So they know where the energy was driving the currency, was moving things here. Like it's just us that's forgot, right? And what they pass on to us is they did not give us our 40 acres and a mule. They made us count beans if we wanted to have the right to vote. They broke all our treaties and all our, we just got a bunch of trauma of it's not gonna work, right? So we just gotta have faith that the rapture is gonna come, and then the sky's gonna crack and all of our problems are gonna be solved by the Most High.
No, I'm not even doing that one, but that sounds nice. But no, but seriously though, the trauma, the forced trauma of it's not going to work anyway. That's a serious thing, and that's a hell of a side effect for tradition. And coming from that perspective where we have people whose behavioral patterns, where it says an inherited, established, or customary pattern of thought, action, or behavior, and that's why I wanted to touch on that, like, because that's that characteristic, manner, method, and style. And before we get to generational wealth, we need generational health healing from the trauma.
Facts. We have to acknowledge that we were traumatized. Things happen, right? We have to acknowledge and let it go, right? And not let it define us like that. The Kunta getting his foot cut off did not define him, right? Him being forced to not be able to speak his language anymore did not define him. Like it started to categorize or not categorize, but characterize him and give him certain attributes, but it didn't define him. As long as in his heart he still was what he was, as long as he still thought about running away as fast as he could, but he knew he couldn't because he had half a foot on one side, right? But he still thought about it, you know what I'm saying? Like he knew who he was.
Man. I don't know, fam. I don't know, fam. That was a reach with Kunta, but
yeah, I'm just saying, right? Like
it's still some hope.
Those negative stories, like again, right? I
ain't feeling that.
I care more about the number of times that he ran away than I care more about him getting his foot cut off. Like people want to focus on his foot getting chopped or the town getting burned or the town getting flooded. That's what I'm saying. That's how we get to it's not going to work anyway. Right. And I'm saying, like, nah, I would rather die trying, right? Like what they say, get rich or die trying. Right.
Yeah,
like,
but I don't want to be tortured to death trying.
So and I'm
Kill
saying
me. I want to try so bad that I die.
True to death.
You know what I'm saying?
True that.
Like if I'm gonna die trying, then I really want to try so hard that I die trying.
Facts. Facts.
Because
and if
die
you're being tortured,
trying,
I don't know if you're trying. Yeah.
It's not. I tried. And then I got my hand chopped off. Then I got my foot cut off. You ain't dying trying. You dying. You ain't even. You gonna heal up. You ain't gonna cut that shit off. You gonna heal up, and they gonna put your ass back to work till you try to get up, muster up enough energy to break the fuck out again. They gonna catch you because now you slower.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
see,
saying. And now
in
you gonna
the
just
movie,
stop it.
in the movie, he gave up after his foot. In my mind, he still had thoughts of running away, even though he only had half a foot, right? So
You gave that nigga a chance. He's still thinking about getting up out of there because he tried it. That's because you wanted to see your man free, God. That's what's up. He ain't make it though. He ain't make it though.
Yo, and like all his choices was just, I don't know, man. It was just downhill. But and it just
even after that, it was just one bad decision after the next, right?
yeah, because it locked them in, right? Like once you accepted the customs of the institution, right? Like cultural continuity was serious. And if you talk about if the cultural continuity is literally slavery, right? Like literally like bondage and indentured servitude and anything goes, you literally got to be dead, or you got to do whatever you got to do to stay alive, right? And that's
So it's either work or you die, right?
reality is it, right? Like it's either like what what is it worth? What is it?
It's either work or you die. In that situation,
That's it.
it's either you work
Not even every
or
situation, like
you risk death.
it's every situation, right? Because
That's what I'm
even
saying,
is work or die, bro. Like is
right?
because you cannot. There's like we cannot be children and throw a tantrum and say I'm not gonna move nowhere no more and sit in the middle of on the sidewalk or in the middle of the shopping aisle or whatever, right? We just can't sit down and fold our arms.
Sit your big ass down and post your. I'm not moving for nobody.
Right? Like we don't get to do that as adults, right? As humans, because that is impolite, is discourteous, right? Is impacting other people that need to pass, right? You're literally in other people's way that have not done anything to harm you, right? Like you're becoming the person that is harming them, right? Like it's like you open yourself up for so many things by being an adult throwing a tantrum, right? When that's why they say there's correct ways to do things, right? And those correct ways are ways that, well, basically will only you get hurt.
Is a adult tantrum traditional?
I hope not. If they are, you should stop that now.
Shoot, it's some actions. It's some actions of some adults that seem very traditional.
I mean,
That,
so would you consider domestic violence somebody throwing a tantrum?
would I equate a tantrum to domestic violence? What kind of like
Maybe
that
not.
tantrum? That tantrum that you just that you just used?
maybe not equate. Maybe not equate. I'm saying that somebody that is an abuser. I'm saying that that person is having a tantrum, is throwing a tantrum, and don't know how to communicate, and they're communicating the only way that they feel that they can. Like, and I'm equating that action to the child sitting on the floor saying I ain't gonna move no more.
So you talking about a child? Is it an adult or is it a child?
I'm talking about an adult relationship where you got two consenting adults that want to be with each other,
So and you have an adult.
but one is an abuser, right? I'm saying, and I'm saying that abuser is throwing a tantrum.
Does that tantrum look like me getting my ass kicked by the abuser?
Yeah.
Okay. So I mean, I don't agree. Nobody stay in any relationship with any gender getting physically abused, you
Absolutely
know,
not.
or mentally abused, you know, and mentally
Emotionally
abused,
abused,
you know.
spiritually
But
abused.
I put the mental, you know, I package all that stuff up in that mental. But you're
Okay.
absolutely right, you know. But
No abuse.
everybody
No
has
abuse.
their own tolerance of what they, you know,
Right.
what they
Yeah.
deal with. So, you know, so I don't know, God. Like you know, like with me, I could speak for me. Like I'm not dealing with nobody who even thinks that that shit cool, you know. Like an adult, you talking about an adult sitting down in the middle of fucking Walmart pouting and shit, talking about they can't get their ice cream or some dumb shit, or they want to buy this, they want to take this shit home now or something. It sounds like a child. It sounds like something a child would do, and it
Sound like a
sounds like
child.
something that a child would do that would get their ass hind parts toe the fuck up because they think it's a game and we not playing them type of games. So they would have to get checked real quick. Like we don't do that. We don't. This is not how we conduct ourselves. I don't know why you even thought that you could bring yourself to do some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how we was rocking because we not rocking like that. You know.
Oh man.
Um. So that's a learning lesson for a child. If you see an adult acting like that, I would believe an adult would have given you signs of behavior that they would could get on that level prior to you. You know, it's just whether you paid attention or not before you even got there.
Yeah, nah, people not paying attention, bro. They being lust, calling it love, right? Or not making good choices, period, right? Just
Yep. So we're gonna bring up tradition real quick on Wikipedia. Tradition we have here. A tradition is a system of beliefs or behaviors, folk custom passed down within a group of people or society with symbolic meaning or special significance with origins in the past. A component of cultural expressions and folklore. Common examples include holidays or impractical impractical but socially meaningful clothes. Common examples include holidays or impractical but socially meaningful clothes. Okay, but the idea has also been applied to social norms and behaviors such as greetings. Traditions can persist and evolve for thousands of years. The word tradition itself derives from the Latin word tradere, literally meaning to transmit, to hand over, to give for safekeeping. While it is reportedly assumed that traditions have an ancient history, many traditions have been invented on purpose, whether it be political or cultural, over short periods of time. Okay. Various academic disciplines also use the word in a variety of ways. Various academic disciplines use the word tradition in a variety of ways. So
yeah, I'm not
that's
like traditions, God.
yeah, you know, so that's why we talk about this word this evening because this word has a lot of meanings. A lot of meanings. You know, you could probably ask 1,000 different people what tradition is defined as. You could just say that what is tradition, and they're gonna answer what it means to them.
Yo, God, when I see to give for safekeeping, that suggests to me that what you was passing down was important, like for us, like it was beneficial. Like um, remember on a Thursday to go high up on the mountains and spin around. I don't know. It just so happens that on that day every year or every month it floods, and if you're not up there, something like that, you'll die. I don't know. It just seemed like when I see for safekeeping, that seemed like originally it was meant for something important, and but then as time passed on, maybe on that third time, maybe it didn't flood, and maybe because you didn't go up and nothing happened, so you're like, oh, okay. I don't know, man. Like, but then once you start seeing that is made up and invented on purpose, and for political or cultural or short term periods of time, it's like, you gotta change them. They're changeable.
Okay, that's what Wikipedia is giving the world. The definition, though, is
Inherited, established.
Established though means that um established actually means though that customary pattern of thought, action. Established means that it was created, so that correlates with the Wikipedia saying that sometimes they've even made up, they've been invented.
That is what established mean. Made up, accepted, or recognized. Which is why I say, right, like it all depends on what the tradition is and why you never forget about why you're doing it. what happens at the end of it, like the outcome of it, right? Like if you like it, then cool. I only care if you try to make me like it too.
Yeah, don't try to make me like it.
Right, like
just ask me. It's real simple.
Or just do you. That's what I'm saying, right? Like I never understood why.
Oh yeah, I was talking about if you wanted my opinion on that. Yeah, like if you don't know my opinion, support your interest and live.
Support your interest and live. Like I never understood why people. That's what I'm saying. Like in the example you gave about jumping off the cliff and the concrete on the other side, right? Like you gotta like all those people. They jump because they believe and they accept that to be true. But you got those that's looking back for those that don't believe and want to condemn them. I'm like, why are you wasting time over here instead of jumping?
Right.
Like, what are you doing? Like, I don't understand that, right? Like, and why are the jumpers looking at you not jump, trying to force me to jump or whatever, saying, yeah, good job. Like, why they not saying why you not jumping though? Right? Why they not looking at you like you doing something crazy? I don't know. It's just weird, bro. I never understood. Come on, we gotta go too. Like,
nah. Traditional. It's traditional. We gotta go too. You gotta go do it. What do you mean? If what you're not African American if you don't, you're not black if you don't vote for Joe Biden.
He said that. He did say that.
What do you mean?
He said that. Right?
It's traditional. Black. All black people vote Democrat. What do you mean?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, fam. I mean, I seen that really happened. So tonight, y'all, we've been talking about the word tradition. And we just really kind of wrapped up our first question. Does tradition have positive or negative effects? We're going to go ahead and move on to the second question this evening. Can tradition be used to promote social stability? And which traditions would be used? Can tradition be used to promote social stability? And which traditions will be used? Now, based on this question, we would have to say that that there was some instability, I guess, socially. We see some things off. We see that social media isn't, stable, or how will we define stable? How are
So
we defining stable, right? When we asking the question, well, we saying stable like, you know, some balance to things. Because socially right now it seems like more of the ratchet, turn up, you know, challenges and all of these things, the twerking. It seemed like that's the stuff that really is the high volume attention retaining throughout the social sphere, the social media sphere. So these are now traditions. Like it's traditional now for people to give they baby a phone. So they starting in it early. You know, they getting attached to the devices. So is there any other traditions that, you know, that could be used to give some of that balance, you know, like, because I know that that's one example, that's a new thing, but you know, I mean, it's just one of them things where it's just like that's something that's a place to start with those people who devices, like that's a tradition. We give our children devices when they're young. Now, I know that we have to make sure that they have knowledge of devices because they're in a world that requires devices. So I can't send you out there and you don't know how to use that shit. But I also have to have some type of balance with it. So it's you learning something and you're not being controlled by it. But then are we being controlled by the shit? Because everybody gotta have a cell phone. Is that the tradition now? Because traditionally we didn't have to have a phone. You could miss a fucking call, you know.
and you still can.
You know, if you missed it, phone call or something, you know, you come home, somebody did anybody call for me? You know, get off the phone. It's time for you to go to bed. You got to go to school tomorrow. Don't worry about that. She lying. I ain't gotta go to bed right now. She just saying that because she want me to get off.
Or you got your little punk ass little brother. Mommy said, "Get off the phone."
Mommy said, "Get
Mommy
off the
said, "Get off
phone."
the phone." Are you still on the phone? Are y'all still on the phone? Yeah.
Yeah, you know. So the good, you know, that was tradition for a while, and then now it's, you know, and people be scared to miss a call. You know, they got to
Nah,
get every single one of them.
to your point with the to the devices, right? Like, when we were children, you absolutely were not well. Phones didn't exist, but I'm just as we as they got older, uh, it was definitely like it was more of a high school, college age kind of thing before you start, because it felt like you needed to be safe and you needed to be mature enough and stuff like that. Uh, but it seems like with the onset of AI, and as you say, parents putting devices in children's hands sooner and earlier, the tradition is changing, right? Kind of how when I was growing up, I was not allowed to play with water guns, cap guns, any toy. I wasn't even allowed to make a finger gun, right? Um, because my moms were scared of guns and stuff like that. Growing up later on, I'm all about gun safety, and we teach training and proper firearm safety and handling, and we go to the range and we practice. We don't practice the fear. We practice the safety and respect, right? So that we are not afraid if it's ever time to protect ourselves or discharge our weapon. Versus don't get comfortable or don't get used to having a gun in your hand because it makes you look like a super thug or a super predator to greater society, and it makes you look like you're going against the norm or going against tradition. And I'm saying, if it is, I stand on the side of alive, right? I don't want to jump off the cliff onto the concrete. Yeah, you muted, God.
I thought American tradition was to
The Second Amendment, right?
yeah, was to be a gunner, was to, you know, grow up.
Yeah, but I
shooting at
grew up
squirrels and rabbits.
I grew up in Brooklyn though, so we wasn't allowed to have firearms for a long time.
Yeah, but you still American though. So like at the end of the day, like that's like, yeah, you grew up somewhere, but you know, like
So that's interesting, right? So while that is the overarching, because New York State is definitely a Second Amendment state, but you do have restrictions in certain cities to where um, the mindset of some parents would be like, you know, guns are bad because here is illegal. If you touch a gun, you know, they're gonna give you all this time and whatnot. But if you go upstate, you know, they got them in the back of the pickups and stuff like that.
yeah, yeah,
Right. So it's just, that's what I'm saying. Like as again, the tradition that I grew up with was no guns, no guns, no guns in a state where it's like guns, 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 guns. So
yeah,
I
yeah.
was learning to be unsafe, right? That's what I'm saying. Like they can be harmful when I needed to be taught safety and responsibility, and um, in reality, my parents needed to be educated in gun safety and gun handling, so that they can properly educate us, right? And they didn't have that, so they couldn't give it to us. So what they did have was fear, and that's what they gave us. That was the trauma of, if you touch a gun, you're going to go to prison.
And your black ass ain't go to prison, did you?
Hell no.
So it worked.
That's what I'm saying. I've been going against the tradition for a long time.
But I'm saying, but those some of them traditions, you know, they worked, you know.
Some work, right?
Some work. And that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, when we look at that, like now we can't say that to promote social stability. All right. Now that helped promote family continuity, because nowadays you like, I could do it different from those things that you said about the lack of education, being able to do it. And that's why you were able to do it different, because you got the education, and it makes more sense to be more prepared in this world where we at right now. Back then you didn't need it. Back then you didn't need it, because for one, we still did this
Often.
you know what I'm saying, and then two, like for the most part, you had people who was, you know, like you knew who was getting down like that and who wasn't getting down like that. So like it was different,
Correct.
you know, and you didn't have cowards. Like most people got their man. So you went and you found your man and you got him. You didn't shoot into the crowd.
Yeah.
You know, unless your beef was with the whole crowd. You know what I'm saying? Then like,
yeah.
yeah, then it's like, then you trying to hit anybody you can hit. But that's not, you know, that's still not a cool thing. That wasn't a thing that we heard about a lot, you know. But now you got to be prepared, because it's more heightened now. Now everybody knows about it. Everybody can have a gun. Like those issues where you talked about, like New York being New York City having very strict gun laws in relation to the rest of the country.
Forget about the state, right? The whole
Yeah.
the rest of the country.
In relation to the rest of the country.
Correct.
you know, and growing up there, yeah, it's gonna be a different climate, you know, but it's gonna be way more guns.
Way more gun, and better shooters, a whole lot more better shooters.
Yeah, because you only get a couple shots to shoot. You know what I'm saying? Because it's so tight, everybody up on each other. You know, so definitely it's one of them things where that was a tradition,
Mm-hmm.
and that negatively, you know, affected the social situation. So social stability, and that's where we look at, like, you know, maybe if more of those, more people had parents like the guy Ali Dawood L at BK Soul Farm had, then they may have been persuaded also to not pick up guns and use them in that manner. So that's why I say it's still value in the methods and
Yeah,
those traditions, because they worked. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta know your errors,
yeah,
you know, and we still seeing people go and do things that I'm sure they had somebody tell them, suggesting to them that it was something more beneficial for them to be doing than picking up guns, going out here doing some, you know, fuckery. So everybody has somebody to give them some influence. And being that it came right from the house, that's why I'm just like,
yeah.
some of those traditions changed. Like, I seen that, like, people don't do those scare. They don't do the fear a lot no more, you know. Like, it is more about being upfront, letting person know, like, this is what it is. Like, you gonna deal with it.
Yo, you know, it's so much harder now as a parent, right? Because you can be called a hypocrite or a liar super fast, right? Because everybody got phones, and you can ask Meta to do anything, and is this true, right? And it'll tell you, right? And and now mommy or daddy really got to say it because I said so. They got to go back to the old.
Mm, 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 mm. Nah, this one on GP. So.
Because I said so, which I grew up with a lot with, right? Like I had a lot of because I said so's, um, because they was doing what they was taught, right?
Right.
And they didn't necessarily know why they were taught that, but that's what they was taught, and they're alive. So they saying if it was good for them, it's good for me,
Exactly.
right? I ain't knocking that. You know what I'm saying? Just what it was, right?
No, because it worked. It worked.
I'm alive, right? I was,
Yeah.
and they was alive. I was alive, right? Still alive. So it worked, right? And that's the thing, right? Like whatever works, I guess works. But that's what I say. When we talk tradition, it's hard to it's it's hard to ask questions and not be offensive, right? Or it sound like you judging somebody else, right? So that's why if you keep it on yourself, it becomes way more palatable.
I don't know. For me, it don't matter whoever the
Yeah,
dummy.
that's
I'm the dummy or you the dummy. I gotta
yeah, that's
learn.
different, God. Like that, like we
I
we
gotta
different.
learn. I gotta learn. I don't care if I'm the dummy or you the dummy. If I gotta wear that shit, or somebody gotta wear that shit. Somebody gotta wear it, you know, because it's a part of the human experience.
Yeah, so we agree that somebody got to wear that, and a lot of people don't, right? Because again, it'll break tradition, right? And folks are trying to maintain. I'm not liking this word, bro. Like it has so many positives. Like it has so many positives, potential positives. but
But
it has way more actual negatives.
it made it seem very oxymoronic. You know,
It's
they
like,
said it's not even verifiable. Historical
how we start there? Like, it's not verifiable.
is not verifiable. A belief or story or body of beliefs or stories relating to the past that are commonly accepted as historical, though not verifiable.
Yeah, they just accept they just believe in stuff. They just accepting things as all right. So we're just gonna go from this point forward. So and ironically, right, like you kind of need that to start a culture, right? Or to have a culture. Like you gotta believe something, right? Like everybody, in order to say that y'all are that, like you gotta you gotta
Because I said so is verifiable.
because I said so is verifiable. That is-
Because I said so is verifiable.
it is, right? Like
So that's not tradition, you know.
right now, and they got to because I said so, because I I asked questions that they could not ask when they were children. They were not allowed to ask because children were to be seen and not heard,
Oh man.
right? So I heard that growing up, but was also, allowed to, like, I used to have like fat lips, but I used to get popped in my joint like mad times because we supposed to be seen and not heard. If we're gonna be in a room, definitely can't be in grown folk business, right? So you cannot have a question about what they just said.
Damn.
You know, right?
Nothing,
Like
right?
that's what I'm
Man,
saying. Like
you
it's
just
crazy.
traumatized. You just traumatized. I don't want to think about it. I'm getting traumatized.
I can't even know nothing about what I just heard because
You
that's
know?
that's a dope business, and I wasn't minding mine. So after I picked
Yeah,
my lip off the floor, I'm like, yeah. So you know,
yeah.
when I ask that question, the only answer that they can give is because I said so, because they don't know why they was doing it either. They was just muscle memory, I guess.
They don't know why they was doing it. Nah, they had a reason because they said so. Now let's ask the questions for it be more ass whooping going on. Like that was tradition. Black families was whooping ass across America. That was tradition.
That was tradition.
And I'm saying there was a lot of us that went to jail in between the ages of 40 and 55. But it's a lot of us that been out here for a long time. And when you look at numbers of generations, man, like after us, it's dwindling. And these younger, the jits out here is bad.
You ain't lying, bro.
So, I wonder what type of traditions are going on that people are accepting as cultural norms, social norms, that can actually be like the questions, which traditions would be used to promote some better social stability. And it seems like some of those, the parents talking about because I said so, being great again. Understanding where you came from and how that was the way you was exposed to it, but you can add some things into it. It don't have to be the exact same, but but find the disciplinary aspect of it, where you may not have to be like, I'm gonna whoop the ass, but we're gonna have to have a conversation, and there is consequence to negative behavior. So like, I can't let you go out here and get locked up, and that's the first time that you get your ass whooped. That you ain't know that doing something wrong was gonna get you fucked up.
Looking at the judge, talking about, I ain't know. Who raised you, boy? Boy.
You gotta know you gonna get fucked up. But when you do something wrong, somebody gotta beat your ass.
Because you're gonna get fucked up if you do something out of pocket, out of line, out of order. Right? Like if you go against the norm, right? If you go against tradition, like it's painful, it hurts, right? That's why.
So is the law, but is the law tradition? The rule of law is the rule of law.
So one of the definitions and one of the synonyms was the word rule. I know a rule is not a law, but it's close mentally.
But it is the rule of law, so it is applied to the rule,
right?
To the beginning of it.
The part you make up.
The law is just affixed to it. You know, so it could be rule. It could be rule of BK Soul Farm.
Word.
You see what I'm saying?
Word.
So you never know, family.
Ain't nobody gonna want to live over there.
I don't know. We just making this shit up, but it sounds good. But it might be right, you know.
Yeah, I mean, so that's there. I mean, like once I saw the word rule, I know law has a heavier word, I guess, a more legal connotation, I guess. But
oh no, I would think rule would be way heavier than law, because the rule is over it. It's the rule of. The rule is over it.
Yeah.
So definitely, sure. Let's go ahead and.
Yeah. I don't like this word at all, bro.
And dive a little bit deeper into it. We're gonna dive a little bit deeper into it. You said you're not feeling tradition right now, God.
Right, like it's too confusing. Like it's because it's applicable positively and negatively, and potentially it can be it can be all dope, right?
You
but
take some certain shit away from it, right? It just got just take some certain shit away from it. Like, and this is what I'm saying, like, how they give you a word like tradition, right? And then now people don't have no idea what the word means. I mean, what the word is defined as, right? But then everybody will associate these meanings to it and then attach this eloquence to it, like tradition, you know, like it's.
And tell you how you don't understand. But I'm like, yeah, but you don't understand why you're doing it either.
I'm like, are you even doing the shit right? Is it even?
Are you? Because nobody wrote it down, so it's all up to how somebody else interpreted it, right? And whoever interpreted it the best is the one that everybody's gonna like, and that's gonna be the one that everybody's gonna try to copy, right?
Yeah, that's a meaning shit. That's meaning. That's
right,
I like what they made tradition mean on that parade. On that parade, what do you call them things? You know, the shit they be having in the parades.
What's that?
Those exhibits and shit, and the parade exhibits, when they be having the little parades and they be having different exhibits come down, they might be made up. Yeah. So like
the floats and stuff.
Float, yeah, that parade.
Yeah,
that's why I'm like, those examples of tradition.
Like folks don't even know they like that you're potentially being sold a bunch of different things, right? Like, because you go to see those different floats, and those are all just advertisements that you just come to expect to see. Is again, what'd you say about Easter? The Easter egg hunt is something for the kids.
It's something for the kids. That's it. It's for the
Right?
baby.
So for the babies, right? Just like the Macy's Day Parade or whatever, is like you go down there and it's something for the babies to you go up there for 2 hours. You can stand there and jump around and look and look and look and the noise and the horns and the like you can
It's lit.
right is exciting. You know what I'm saying?
It's tradition.
Why are we doing it exactly? What all this stuff mean? Or who knows? But it's the place to be because it's tradition.
That's a fact, God. So moving right along, we're gonna go ahead and get into our third question this evening, family. Tonight we are talking about and smoking on the word tradition. Make sure to like and share the video. Also, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so when we go live, you never miss an episode of Cigar Sundays live. And if you're just joining us, y'all, we are smoking on the word tradition and going into our third question this evening, which is, how does tradition impact the communication of knowledge and values from one generation to another? Once again, our third question this evening and final question is, how does tradition impact the communication of knowledge and values from one generation to another? We're going to hear from the God Ali Dawu El at BK Soul Farm.
I think you just said it a few minutes ago, God. How do you even know if you're even doing it right?
Right?
Right. Like that's why I said it's up to is interpretable, right? And depending on the person or the interpretation that you saw that you like that you're gonna copy, like that's what you're like every time you do it, it's gonna look like that. That's what you're trying to replicate, the thing that you like to see. And if that person changed something for their own ease or whatever reason why they changed it, but didn't explain that to nobody or didn't say nothing to nobody, and now you're just doing a different thing. Now you're just doing the wrong thing, right? And you wondering why it's not raining because you're not doing the rain dance, right? Like you doing something different now. That's it, right? Like how do you know, right? And because it's inherited, because it's something that is passed down, word to ear or mouth to ear, you're not allowed to ask questions and stay in the tradition, right? So like you can't ask questions.
That's crazy.
You can't ask questions because when you ask questions, like you're like that's breaking the tradition.
You're not supposed to ask questions. You're just supposed to do it.
You're supposed to do it.
Don't ask questions about it. Just do it.
How do you answer a question, God, if the thing itself doesn't have to have ever existed historically and doesn't have to be verifiable? Like, how do you answer that question?
Let me ask you this, God, as a parent, how do you administer that? Where is the limit to administering that?
So I may not be the best example because I've been known to overshare.
I got you.
I keeps it tall with my children, right, and my grandchildren or your children, whoever bring the kid around me, like you get realism, like Like, don't let your child ask me nothing you don't want them to know.
I feel you on that. I feel you on that. I
Like,
feel you on that.
cause I'm a sit back, look at them, and I'm gonna do my best to answer their question on to the best of my ability on their level, to
Right.
to what they can understand. Right. I'm not gonna do my best to not answer their question and say, well, you'll understand when you get older,
And leave them fucked up out here. Right.
and let somebody else miseducate them. Um, when I had the opportunity, because they asked me,
Right.
right, and now I'm mad that somebody else told them a lie, or correction, somebody else told them a story that they accepted, that is that never really happened, that is not verifiable, but because that's the tradition.
No doubt. Yeah, because that's always that's all that I always looked at that like a crazy tradition, like to add to be told, you know, don't ask questions, just do it. You know. I looked at that. That was a tradition, you know. And I look at like what situations, like I'm not a parent, right? So I know having another human that you're gonna be responsible for might put you in a situation where you have to say, you know, just do it, don't ask no questions, just do it. And I'm like, now everybody not in a conscious mind, so they're not going to be thinking about how that affected them. That some people follow that tradition, so they don't have any, they never evaluated it or examined it. Like, damn, when I was young, I was told to do some shit and don't ask no questions. I ain't like that shit, you know. Like I wanted to know what the fuck was going on.
They more so look at it as, I'm okay. It worked for
Right.
me.
And that's what I'm saying. Then that's the other side. So now the other side is the other person views it as they never even viewed it. It's tradition. They just rocking with it. So then I'm like, okay, it is most likely that the one who becomes the parent in that situation that has reflected on it, self-reflected, and examined it and said, you know what, this was a tradition that I ain't really like. I think we could do something a little different with it. Okay. If we can be a little bit more effective, a little bit more beneficial with that style. All right. We don't have to do that. So now it's like we know life brings about a lot of the same type of shit. Like, ain't nothing new under the sun. So,
Mhm.
so what situations do you get involved in where it's like, damn, now I gotta pull that card. I was trying not to pull that card, but now I gotta tell this little motherfucker, look, just don't ask no questions and just do it and just do it. But every other time I'm allowing questions. So it's like, is there a time? And like the guy said, now we answering everything all the time, on time.
It's hard. I'm not tough, bro. It's like some of these questions be hard, like real hard, and I've had to be honest and say I need some time to think about how to answer that question for you,
That's dope.
right? Because again, like it's more like is the value is not hearing myself speak, right?
Yeah.
Like that is not the value.
It's in the answer, the result. It's in the result
Right?
of what's been spoken.
Like, I want, I want to
Yeah.
communicate effectively, and I want to have been heard and acknowledged, and I want my message to have been acted upon and tried out, right? And I want feedback, right? I'm not just talking just to talk, right? I absolutely want the things that I want. So yeah, right. So
Finished
it,
product all day.
Yeah, bro, it's been some tough conversations, right? And it's been some. It's not easy, and I've had to ask for help from other people to have conversations because I just didn't know how to say certain things,
No
right?
doubt.
Um, and is I've not answered questions simply by saying I don't know how to say this to you, right? Like you're not mature enough to understand it, and I don't know how to say it to you to where you would. You're just gonna ask more questions, right? And I let them know that I just don't know how to explain it right now. Just give me some more time. Yeah.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. Thanks for sharing that, family, for real, God. Because traditionally, we get the whole idea of just, you know, not even saying, not even having the ability to ask. And that was the tradition. Coming from that. We grew up coming from that, where it's just like you can't even ask. You can't ask shit. It's
You can't ask them.
like if you're asking, you're being disrespectful,
Facts.
you know. So that was a tradition, that was where we was taught, brought up, and then you just, you know, eloquently shared like how it looks in the trenches,
Good
really
word.
putting in that work,
Good word. Trenches.
you know, and parenting and giving a real fuck about, you know. So those traditions, like, and that's the new traditions. The examples and the things that you shared, like those should be the new traditions of figuring it out, of making it work, of making it, be productive and fruitful and investing into it. That was the new traditions. The whole uh don't ask shit, don't touch shit. Don't ask for shit, don't touch shit. Don't put your hands on shit because you ain't getting shit. You know, don't
Yo,
ask.
do you remember growing up, bro? Like, I wasn't even allowed to find nothing.
Don't bring shit up in here. Don't bring nothing you found up in this motherfucker.
I wasn't even allowed to find anything, God. Like that ain't your money. Like, it's like I found it on the floor.
Shit.
Leave it there. That's
Shit.
stealing. I'm like, come on, bro.
I'm going to
Yeah,
go
so
spend that shit. I find a
hell
dollar.
yeah.
I'm going to the corner store. I'm spending that.
Yeah, nah, bro. So yeah, nah, it's I don't know. When you ask me good, bad, or misunderstood, bro, I think I'm going with bad, bro. I don't like tradition.
Okay,
Uh,
so tradition.
don't like it, bro.
Is it bad, good, or misunderstood?
I don't like it at all. I don't even think it's misunderstood. I think people are using it appropriately, right? And it could be used for good or for bad. And because of that, I'm saying it's bad, right? It's manipulative. Um, it requires all parties to be on the same page at all times so that nobody get taken advantage of or get smoke blown up their butt, right? Like and I don't like I like real talk. Like I don't like being manipulated. I don't like being tricked into doing stuff. I don't like I'm cool with us making up a way forward. I'm cool with you making up a way forward and bringing it to me, talking about like, yo, God, I think this should be our way forward, right? I process that, and if I agree, and I move when you move, right? Just like that. Um, so it doesn't have to be, my way or the highway kind of thing, right? Or it doesn't have to be um we all agree on the same thing. Like however it comes about, it comes about. But everything I read, so everything you read so far today, like it's just too much room for error, and it seems like error is okay.
It seems like error's okay.
I don't like that. I don't like that part. I don't like that part. That error's okay. I don't like that part. Yeah, it's bad, bro. I don't like tradition. Tradition. I'm going on record saying tradition is bad for me.
Tradition is bad. The guy Ali Dawu L at BK Soul Farm says tradition is bad. Well, God, I gotta agree. I'm definitely gonna say it's bad, and misunderstood. And you know, going into you eloquently explained the bad. You know, I will touch slightly on the misunderstood. Just reiterating, you know, it's important why we do these shows, because when you look at a word like tradition, I've had so many, like recently, people using this word and referring to things that like of value, you know, and it's like, do you understand like really what tradition is? You know, do you know what it's defined as? And like, in order for it to be that, there has to be certain practices, you know, that are consistent with it, even though it leaves room for error. We clearly see that. However, if you're going to function in at least some form of normalcy with tradition, then you have to have a certain set of practices, a certain set of rules, guidelines that you follow. You have to. So, you know, looking at the definition, people are not doing that, associating those things with their meanings, because they're leaving, you know, their traditions to be without any type of rules or guidelines.
Nothing. So willy-nilly.
It's just, you know, it sounds like a word to be using that, you know, really has nothing to do with the actions that have been attached to it or associated with it, even in reference. So I think that, you know, that's a big problem with the misunderstanding of the word tradition, with people's application of it. And, you know, I think it would serve people to, you know, check out Cigar Sundays live, Sundays at 8 p.m. right here on YouTube. You know, hosted by myself, DBCHEFTV, and the guy Ali Dawu L at BK Soul Farm. You know, we want to make sure everybody have a positive and peaceful and productive start to their week. As always, another great conversation.
Word.
We will see y'all next Sunday right back here on Cigar Sundays Live with myself, Chef Earl Pearl at DBCHEFTV, and the God, Ali Dawu L at BK Soul Farm. And we are the Cigarden Panel. Peace, family.
Peace, God. This whole publication is all about going from nowhere to somewhere, right? Being able to stand on something so that you can travel in peace, right? So bksoulfarm.com, 1016 160 self-sustainability. Jump on a list and get yourself together, right? Because it is irresponsible to not even know what responsibility means. So get yourself together, food, clothing, and shelter, protection of that, support your interests, and live.
Exchange insights Sundays at 8 p.m. East Coast time with the Cigarden Panel, smoking on words like two big nerds, hosted by DBCHEFTV and BK Soul Farm at Cigar Sundays on YouTube. Subscribe and hit the notification bell so when they go live, you never miss an episode of Cigar Sundays Live.
Moving with the heavyweights, with the heavyweight. Time to celebrate life. Mary Jane be my wife, man. Recipes to fight, dog. Music be my life, dog. Shouts to anybody with a brother doing life, y'all. It's fucking with my brain. Like, should I flip a pack or just focus on the game?
From the same place the trap music comes from. Same story, same streets with the loaded guns. Every bass lines, 808s and kick drums. I'm from the same place the trap music comes from.